Back with another one on Don't Believe Me, Read It For Yourself, and Don't Send Me Your Money, Keep It For Yourself. So part two of the Crucifixion Resurrection request. We're going to go into biblical facts. So yesterday we did historical, secular, atheistic, agnostic, historians, scholars, from the time of antiquities. So back, when Rome was in charge of everything. Even those historians wrote about Jesus, and undeniable at the time, and even now. So scholars these days, it's not an argument whether Jesus lived or not. So we're going to read Psalm 2, 7, and 8. I will proclaim the Lord's decree. He said to me, "You are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask me, and I will make the nations your inheritance, the ends of the earth your possessions." And then there's, going into it real fast, there's prophecy in Old Testament, and then in the New Testament, the apostles talk about when the prophecy is fulfilled. So Acts 13, 29, 33, remember Luke writes Acts as well. When they had carried out all that was written about him, they took him down from the cross and laid him in his tomb. But God raised him from the dead, and for many days he was seen by those who had traveled with him from Galilee to Jerusalem. They are now his witnesses to our people. We tell you the good news. What God promised our ancestors, he fulfilled for us, the children, by raising up Jesus. As it is written in the second Psalm, "You are my son. Today I have become your father." So that's just the first one. We're going to read a few more. And then I'm going to do probably a live within the next couple days or a few days. There's over 360 Bible prophecies that are fulfilled by Jesus. So the chances of 8 being fulfilled are, I forgot how many zeros, but 1 and 1, and I don't know, I don't want to miss it, but there's a bunch of zeros afterwards. So just 8 prophecies being fulfilled just wouldn't happen. People talk about you'd have better odds of taking your life savings and putting it down on the lottery than Jesus fulfilling just 8 prophecies, but it was over 360, I believe. And then, so this is David writing Psalm 22, and then I'm going to read Matthew's account thereafter. So David, Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, so far from the cries and anguish? My God, I cry out by day, but you do not answer. By night, I find no rest. Yet you are enthroned as the Holy One. You are the one Israel praises. In you, our ancestors put their trust. They trusted, and you delivered them. To you they cried out and were saved. In you they trusted and were not put to shame. But I am worm and not a man, scorned by everyone, despised by the people. All who seek me mock me. They hurl insults, shaking their heads. He trusts in the Lord, they say. Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him. Yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you, even at my mother's breast. From birth I was cast on you. From my mother's womb you have been my God. Do not be far from me, for trouble is near, and there is no one to help. Many bulls surround me, strong bulls of Bashan encircle me. Roaring lions, they tear their prey, open their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax, it melted with me. My mouth is dried up like potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. Dogs surround me, a pack of villains encircle me. They pierce my hands and feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them and cast lots for garment. But you, Lord, do not be far from me. You are my strength. Come quickly to help me. Deliver me from the sword. My precious life and the power of the dogs rescue me from the mouth of the lions. Save me from the horns of the wild oxen. I will declare your name to my people. In the assembly I will praise you. You who fear the Lord, praise him. All you descendants of Jacob, honor him. Revere him, all you descendants of Israel. For he has not despised or scorned the suffering of the afflicted one. He has not hidden his face from him, but has listened to his cry for help. From you comes the theme of the praise in the great assembly, But for those who fear you, I will fulfill my vows. The poor will eat and be satisfied. Those who seek the Lord will praise him. May your hearts live forever. All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord, and all the families of all the nations will bow down before him. For dominion belongs to the Lord, and he rules over the nations. All the riches of the earth and will feast and worship him, and all who go down to the dust will kneel before him. Those who cannot keep themselves alive, posterity will serve him. Future generations will be told about the Lord. They will proclaim his righteousness, declaring to a people yet unborn, he has done it. And then, so John 20:25. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the Lord. He said to them, unless I see the nail marks in his hand and put my finger where the nails were and put my hands inside him, I will not believe. So that was Thomas who said he wouldn't believe until he saw the nails. The nails were put into his wrists, so the wrist is still considered part of the hand and not the forearm. So they had to put them here so that the nails would hold. If they would have put them like directly in between the metacarpals, they'd pull out. And then Matthew 27:35, when they had crucified him, they divided up his clothes in casting lots. So all throughout Matthew and John, there's just two of the verses where they talked about those prophecies being fulfilled. And then Isaiah 53, who has beloved our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord received? He gave up before like a tender shoot, and like a root of the dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. But he was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering, and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hid their faces, he was despised, and we held him to low esteem. Surely he took our pain and bore our suffering, yet we consider him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, and he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We are all like sheep have gone astray. Each one of us has turned our own way, and the Lord has laid him on the iniquity of all of us. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as the sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. But oppression and judgment has been taken away. Yet who of this generation protested? For he was cut off for the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and to cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes like an offering of our sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days. And the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After he has suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and who will bear the iniquities. Therefore I will give him a portion amongst the great, and divide his spoils with the strong. Because he poured out his life unto death, and was numbered with his transgressions, for he bore the sin of many, and made intercession for their transgressions. And then Luke 13:34, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who have killed the prophets and stoned those who sent you, how often have I longed to gather you children, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you are not willing. 2 Corinthians 5:21, God made him who had no sin to be sin for us, so that we might become the righteousness of God. 1 Peter 2:23, when they hurled their insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who justifies the unjustly. And then, so those are the ones I'm going to read real fast. And then just, if you read these names in Hebrew and then look at the translations, Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Mahasula, Lamech, and Noah, those translate to man appointed mortal sorrow. Blessed God shall come down teaching. His death shall bring despairing rest. And then we'll go into some more later on. But if you want to catch the rest, jump over to YouTube. I only have 4 seconds left on TikTok. But Psalm 2, 7 and 8, and Acts 13, 7 and 33 is the prophecy being fulfilled. Psalm 34, 20 is fulfilled in John 19, 31. That talks about no bones being broken. And so everything he went through for his crucifixion, they broke the other thieves' legs on the cross, but they didn't. No bones were broken of Jesus. Psalm 69:21 is prophesied, and then Matthew 27:34 talks about vinegar being given for thirst. So how did they know that when Psalm was written? Isaiah 53:5 prophesied in Matthew 27:26 talks about being fulfilled. That's his back being whipped to open bones being shown. Isaiah 53:8 again. Matthew 27:35 talks about him being killed. Isaiah 53:8 and then fulfilled in 1 John 2:2 talks about he dies for the sins of all of us, for the world. So those are just a few. Again, I'll probably have to do a live to get all 360 prophecies in there. But other than that, please don't believe me. Read this for yourself. It's I don't know how else to describe it. If that doesn't hit you personally in the heart, then I don't know what will. But David, remember in 900 some BC, prophesied the crucifixion of Christ happening, and that was before crucifixion was even a form of punishment. So prophesied it happening, and then it actually everything transpired as he prophesied. So that's how you know it was true. But don't believe me. Read it for yourself, and don't send me your money. Keep it for yourself, and God bless you.